Today on Running to Him, when people of God are following Him, generosity follows. Now, if you're joining us and going through the books of Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther, today's reading is Nehemiah 7, verses 66 through 73, and I encourage you to read that passage. Well, Nehemiah 7, verses 70 through 72 says this: Some among the heads of the fathers' households gave to the work, and the governor gave to the treasury 1,000 gold drachmas and 50 basins and 530 priests' garments. And some of the heads of the fathers' households gave into the treasury the work of 20,000 gold drachmas and 2,200 silver minas. And the rest of the people gave was 20,000 gold drachmas and 2,000 silver minas and 67 priests' garments. Now, by far the most meaningful story about a person's giving is the story of the widow's mite in Mark chapter 12, verses 41 through 44, and Luke 21, 1 through 4. Now, you will remember that Christ and his disciples were observing the people who came to the treasury to give, and many came with gifts, both large and small. The widow came with a huge gift. She gave everything she had, including her life. Well, in the story of the widow's mite, we are shown what gifts are important to God. These gifts are the ones not given out of a feeling of necessity or fear, but love and desire. The widow came to the temple, to the place where she had gone into God's service. She gave from the conviction of someone who had an intense relationship with God. Those Israelites who gave to the temple fund in Nehemiah's day also had a strong desire to give, not from compulsion or duty, but from love. Now, we are told that the amounts they offered were different, and we may marvel at the numbers without knowing the full extent of their gifts. The average worker back then received about 1 drachma per day in wages. In today's term, the money that was given, the total amount, was $800,000. Now, that was in cash. That's an incredible sum, but it gets even better. The total amount of money that was given would amount to almost $2 million in today's figures. Now, I knew of a church that had a debt of about $3 million when the new pastor was called to minister there. He encouraged the members to give to relieve that debt burden from the church, and the members responded. And over several years, that debt has been reduced to under $1 million. No one compelled the congregation to give that amount of money. They gave because he led them, and he encouraged them in their giving. Now, you are looking at several churches in Greece. These churches were built because of the desire of the congregants to see them built. My father-in-law helped build several of the churches that are high on top of hills, like small mountains. He was poor, but he helped in creating them. Now, giving involves your heart. I had a very close older friend who rarely attended church, but was well off financially. Each year, the pastor of the church would visit his home and leave with a reasonably large check. Now, for the next year, I would hear about the gift he had given and how he felt that he had to give it if he was going to stay in God's good graces. His heart was not in it. It was out of compulsion. Most of us don't have a significant financial resource to give, but we all have the same amount of one type of resource that we can give. Each day that resource is renewed. We can either waste it or we can give it to God and see it work for his kingdom. Time is our most precious resource. We all have the same amount each day that we live. We can either squander it on ourselves or give out of our abundance. The choice to give is ours. Let's use it wisely. Thank you for listening. We pray that today's devotion was meaningful to you. We would love to hear from you. If you listen to us on Facebook or YouTube, please like, subscribe, share, and tell others about us. You can always email us at phineasjacobus@runningtohim.com. net.